Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brain Bean here again, and today we're going to be taking a look at Corsair's new HS60 Haptic gaming headset. Now, this headset has a built-in rumble feature that's meant to really bring you into the game, letting you feel the explosions and sounds that you're experiencing. Let's see how they did. Let's check it out. Starting with overall construction, the Corsair HS60 Haptic feels very high quality in the hands. It's made up of quality components sporting a metal headband, aluminum yokes, and metal grills. The plastic on the ear cups feels solid enough, and the concealed audio wiring gives it a nice finished look. I was able to bend and stretch the headset without any issues. The only thing I would have liked to have seen at this price point are rotating ear cups for a little bit more comfort, and I think at $130 I don't think that's an unreasonable ask. Visually, they have a winter camo finish that personally isn't my favorite, as I'm just not really a fan of camo in general, but I think the execution of that aesthetic is done quite well. I also kind of like the subtle look of the Corsair logo on the headband and the 60 Haptic branding, all nice and clean looking as far as branding goes. Despite the sturdiness of the construction, Corsair was still able to keep the weight down to a respectable 420 grams or just under a pound. The padding is made of memory foam and wrapped in leatherette. I think the headband feels plenty padded, and I really like the look of the white stitching as well. The ear cups left me wanting more though. They're a bit shallow, which left the tips of my ears touching the inside of the headset, which felt uncomfortable almost immediately, and I also felt like the lack of depth on the padding really didn't seal the headset to my head well. What's interesting here is that the padding doesn't go the full length of the leatherette. It's actually about half or so while it looks good on the outside, there's actually only about a centimeter deep of padding, which just isn't enough for my big ears. Maybe for people with smaller ears, but for me, the comfort department on this one was seriously lacking. And I do want to point out that the HS60 Haptic is a PC-only USB headset. It does have a 2-meter long cable, which is pretty much the standard length, although with any wired headset, I always kind of feel like I want a little bit more length. I mean, who doesn't, right? And obviously the main draw of this headset is the haptic feedback. Now it uses Tachyon technology, which allows it to translate any low frequencies or booms or things like that in game into a rumble that you can feel on your head, and I think they definitely nailed this. The HS60 puts out by far the most rumble of any haptic headset that I've used, and I think what Corsair does so well here is the subtle rumble of lower volume events and the increasing intensity when stuff really gets going. I tested this headset with my favorite game for audio testing, Doom, and I can certainly say that I felt every explosion, but I 100% believe that this is not going to be an experience for everyone. And while the haptics are certainly cool, I also found it to be pretty disorienting. I do like that there's a dedicated knob on the headset to turn up or down the intensity of the haptics, and I've got to say, for me, the sweet spot was around 40%. And when I tested this playing Doom at 100% intensity, I literally had my nose vibrating, my glasses were shaking around, I felt like my brains were being scrambled and really wasn't a very enjoyable experience for me. But then I called my wife into my office and I had her try it out, and she absolutely loved the experience. She said that it wasn't too much in terms of vibration, so I think your mileage is definitely going to vary on this one, and I think some people are certainly more sensitive to the feeling of the haptics than others. You can also listen to music or watch movies with these, but I found that the haptics definitely feel more natural while gaming, and I didn't particularly enjoy it that much for music. You don't actually have to have IQ installed to use this headset. There's a couple of EQ options though that you can unlock by having it installed that I'll get to a little bit later, but I do recommend doing that. There's 1 or 2 microphone options, but I do wish there was some more settings and ways to tweak the way the haptics respond, because all you really get is that dedicated knob to increase or lower the intensity, and it would be cool to set thresholds for when it activates and when it doesn't and stuff like that, but unfortunately we don't have any options to tweak that. The HS60 uses custom-tuned 50mm drivers. The audio quality on this headset is pretty good overall, but it's definitely bass heavy, and that should come as no surprise, seeing as that's a big part of how they trigger the haptics. In IQ, there are EQ modes pre-configured, and I found the default mode to be pretty muddy and undefined, while the bass boost mode literally gave me shaken baby syndrome with the haptics. The best overall audio performance for me in terms of just overall range and clarity was the FPS competitive or the clear chat audio presets, which enhanced the mids and kind of turned down the bass a little bit, which even when having it toned down was still way boosted anyways. And this headset definitely lends itself much more towards providing just a cool gaming experience experience than more of an audiophile like clarity. It's also Windows Sonic capable for 360-degree spatial audio, but I found that it wasn't quite the same experience as something like THX spatial audio. So now I'm talking to you guys directly through the microphone on the headset. Now this is a unidirectional microphone with some built-in noise canceling properties as well. Again, there's a couple of very minor tweaks you can make to the mic in terms of just how sensitive the noise canceling and stuff like that is, but you can't do any microphone EQ or anything, which would be nice to have in terms of extra stuff in IQ. It's also a removable mic as well, which is always nice if you want to just have it away from your face or something like that when you're just focusing on gaming and not playing online. But overall, I think the clarity here is pretty good. One of the better microphones certainly that I've had on a headset that I've reviewed in the last year or so. So props to Corsair for that. We do have some on-ear controls with the volume knob and dedicated mute button on the side. I also like that there's an audible notification when muting and unmuting your mic. And on the other ear, we do have that knob for adjusting the haptics like I mentioned earlier. The HS60 Haptics come in at $130, which is getting into the territory where there are a lot of really high quality options for audio performance. And these don't sound bad. I'd say with the right EQ settings, they're decent, but really it's all about feeding the haptics. And look, overall build quality here is pretty good, although for $130, I think the comfort is a bit lacking as that padding was just a little bit light for me. And really the star of the show here is the haptic feedback, and Corsair certainly achieved a really cool dynamic range of subtle vibration at lower intensities, all the way up to big boomy explosions that shake your head around. But it's definitely not going to be for everybody. And again, my sweet spot was around 40%, and some people may be even more sensitive to it than I am, or maybe, you know, you like it at 100% and it's super big and boomy and immersive. And so, you know, I would really only recommend this headset for those of you that are looking for that next level kind of impact and bring you into the game experience. I do think a wireless version of these for use with VR would be awesome. I would definitely recommend it for something like that. But as it sits right now, I think the group of people that this is perfect for is definitely going to be kind of a small select group. Well, that's it for the video, guys. Let me know in those comments down below what you think about this headset. And of course, if you made it this far into the video, I'd love to see you subscribe. So I've got a lot more videos like this coming for you in the near future. You can also follow me on Twitter at BrainBeanGaming for some exclusive giveaways and stuff that I do over there. But as always, guys, stay safe out there, take care of each other, and I will see you in the next one.